From forgotten folklore to hidden histories, some records demand to be found. Raymond had traveled to Thailand many times before. Over the years, he had become familiar with the country's temples, customs, and spiritual traditions. He also collected Thai amulets, small, blessed objects that many people wear for protection. Since childhood, Raymond had possessed what Chinese folklore calls yin-yang eyes, the ability to occasionally see spirits or presences hidden from most people. It was not something he could summon at will, and it was not something he spoke about often. It was simply a part of his life. In the early 2010s, Raymond returned to Thailand with 5 friends from Hong Kong. One morning, 2 women in the group decided to join a day tour to Ayutthaya. Raymond advised them not to go, because he believed the old city was crowded with spirits. The women went anyway. To most visitors, Ayutthaya is a landscape of red brick temples, weathered Buddha statues, and tall towers rising above the ruins. But the city was once the capital of the Kingdom of Siam and one of the great trading centers of Southeast Asia. That era ended in 1767. After a prolonged war, Burmese forces captured Ayutthaya. Much of the city was burned and looted. Temples and palaces were destroyed, and many soldiers and civilians were killed or taken away. The ruins visited today are what remained after its destruction. The 2 women spent the day walking through those ruins. They visited temples, climbed old brick platforms, and stopped repeatedly to take photographs beside the towers. Nothing unusual happened while they were there. Late that afternoon, they returned to Bangkok and met the rest of the group for dinner. That evening, all 6 friends moved to another hotel near Bangkok Hospital. It was a large, well-known hotel shaped like a ship. From their side of the building, they could see the hospital entrance and vehicles passing through the darkness below. While Raymond and the others were still dealing with the check-in, the 2 women went up to their room on the 6th floor. Only a few minutes later, Raymond received a call. It was one of the women. Her voice was tense. There was something wrong with the room, she said, and she begged him to come upstairs. When Raymond arrived with the others, he found both women frightened. The room itself looked old-fashioned. A wooden dressing table faced the entrance, with a large mirror above it. Nearby stood a heavy wooden wardrobe. The women explained that they had heard a sudden sharp sound soon after entering. At first, neither of them paid much attention to it. One of them decided to take a shower. Steam still clung to the bathroom mirror after her shower. As she wiped part of it clear, she caught the reflection of a young man standing silently behind her. She froze, then spun around. No one was there. She hurried out of the bathroom and found her friend sitting on the bed. "There's something wrong with this room," she said. Raymond was the first person they thought to call. As the others spoke, Raymond looked towards the dressing table and fell silent. There was something beside it that no one else appeared to notice. It was the figure of a woman. Her face was heavily made up, and her clothing appeared to belong to another period. She stood perfectly still. A violent impact suddenly broke the silence. It came from the wardrobe. Before anyone could react, there was another blow. Then another. Something inside appeared to be striking the wooden panels. Everyone in the room froze. This was not something only Raymond could see or hear. All 6 of them heard it. Raymond told the group that they should not remain in the hotel. No one argued. They left the room and moved to another hotel that night. Raymond did not sleep. The following day, he took the 2 women to see a spiritual practitioner he knew in Thailand. After listening to them, the practitioner asked whether they had taken any photographs during their visit to Ayutthaya. They had. The women showed him the pictures on their phones. The practitioner examined them one by one. Then he stopped. On the screen was a photograph taken near one of the old towers. The practitioner studied it before telling them that whatever had followed them back to Bangkok had come from there. After performing a cleansing ritual, he instructed both women to discard the clothes they had worn during the day tour rather than take them home to Hong Kong. Then, the group continued its trip. For a time, they believed the matter had been dealt with, but after returning to Hong Kong, one of the women began having the same dream night after night. In it, a young man appeared before her. He said only one thing: "You took my skull." She woke from the dream, only to find him waiting for her again the following night. Then again the night after that. For 7 consecutive nights, she saw the same man and heard the same accusation. She told her friends what was happening. At first, they thought the experience in Bangkok had frightened her and that the dreams might pass, but her condition continued to deteriorate. She could not sleep properly. She began saying strange things that her friends could not understand. At times, her behavior made them feel as though something else had taken hold of her, although none of them knew what was actually happening. Raymond and several friends tried to get help. They also urged her family to take her to a doctor. On one occasion, they brought her to a temple in Hong Kong. The moment she reached the entrance, she screamed hysterically and refused to go any farther. Her friends pleaded with her, but she would not cross the threshold. When several of the men tried to carry her inside, she resisted with such force that together, they still could not move her through the entrance. Her sleeplessness and distress continued for the next several months. She was not able to bear it any longer, and eventually took her own life. Around half a year later, Raymond returned to Thailand and told the practitioner what had happened. The practitioner said that the woman must have taken something from Ayutthaya, perhaps without knowing it. Whatever it was, he believed its owner had wanted it back. But neither Raymond nor any of the other friends had seen her take anything. No one knew what the young man in her dreams meant by a skull, or whether the accusation had any connection to the place shown in the photograph. Years later, Raymond still had no answer. The experience in Ayutthaya was not the only time Raymond saw something in a Thai hotel. Over the years, Thai friends had warned him about staying on the lowest floors. According to a folk belief they shared with him, the first 3 floors of some hotels were sometimes associated with different kinds of spiritual worship: darker or earthbound spirits on the first, child spirits on the second, and more benevolent deities on the third. It was not a rule observed by every hotel or a belief held by every Thai person, but it was common enough among Raymond's friends that some of them avoided rooms on the first, second, and third floors whenever they could. Raymond had encountered strange things in Bangkok hotels before. Most of those experiences were brief. A shape in a corridor, a presence in a room, something glimpsed and then gone. They frightened him, but none felt as real as what happened during a later stay near the beach in Phuket. The hotel stood on Thailand's Andaman coast, with Raymond's room looking out over the sea. In 2004, the same coastline had been struck by the Indian Ocean tsunami. Thousands died in Thailand, and some of the victims were never identified. One night, at around 3 in the morning, Raymond woke abruptly as he felt an unusual pressure on his chest. The room was dark and quiet. As his eyes adjusted, he became aware that he was not alone. 2 people were sitting on the bed. One was near his feet. The other was close to the head of the bed, only a short distance from where he lay. Both were drenched. Water clung to their bodies and clothing. The bedding around them was wet, and grains of sand had been scattered across the mattress, as though they had walked straight out of the sea and into his room. Raymond had seen apparitions before. Usually they were indistinct, or visible only for a moment. These 2 were different. He could see them clearly. For several seconds, Raymond lay completely still. He was too frightened to speak. He avoided looking directly into their eyes, afraid that acknowledging them might invite some kind of response. He reached for the amulets he kept close to him and held on to them. He did not know what the figures wanted, or whether they were even aware that he could see them. He only knew that one sat near the foot of his bed, while the other remained beside his head. After that night, Raymond no longer felt comfortable staying near that part of the coast. Raymond was not the only frequent visitor who associated the coast with stories of the dead. He had heard other travelers describe figures near the beaches and people appearing beside dark roads, only to vanish when a car drew closer. He could not know whether the 2 people in his room had any connection to the tsunami. They never spoke to him. They never explained why they were there. About 20 years ago, shortly after the Lunar New Year, 12 tourists from Hong Kong traveled together to Pattaya, Thailand. The group occupied 6 rooms across 2 floors. Their tour leader was a young Hong Kong woman leading her first trip to Thailand. Their local guide was a Thai man. Among the 12 tourists was a man named Kevin. The hotel had recently reopened under an international brand. What the group noticed first was its unusual lighting. Some rooms glowed green, others blue, orange, or red. The colored light gave the corridors and bedrooms an artificial, unsettled appearance. Kevin felt uncomfortable as soon as he entered his assigned room. He could not point to anything wrong. The room appeared ordinary. But the longer he remained inside, the more strongly he felt that he should not stay there. When the tour leader and local guide came by to check on the group, he asked for another room. He could offer no explanation beyond the feeling itself. The tour leader eventually agreed to exchange rooms with him. Once he had moved, the unease disappeared. He slept normally and thought no more about it until the following morning. The tour leader had not slept at all. The room had an unusual opening between the bathroom and bedroom, a glass window fitted with wooden slats that could be raised or lowered. During the night, she began hearing something scrape across the glass. It sounded like fingernails. The scratching returned again and again, keeping her awake until morning. Eventually, she left the room and spent the remainder of the night elsewhere. At breakfast, the group discovered that hers was not the only room affected. A couple on the same floor said that, while they were in bed, something repeatedly touched or tugged at their feet. Guests in a third room on that floor also reported a disturbance. The rooms were separate. The experiences were different, but every report came from the same floor. The local guide changed the morning's itinerary. Before taking the group sightseeing, he brought them to a small shrine. There, they paid their respects and received a blessing. To the guide, the situation did not seem extraordinary. He told them that encounters of this kind were not unusual in Thailand. After visiting the shrine, he said, they should be all right. For the rest of the trip, no one in the group reported another incident. Only later did Kevin learn that the hotel had once stood abandoned before being acquired, renovated, and reopened by an international hotel brand. Whether that history had anything to do with what happened, nobody knew. Since that trip, he has kept the same habit. Whenever he enters a hotel room and immediately feels uncomfortable, he asks to change rooms. History only leaves us the fragments. The rest lives in the shadows. Thank you for exploring these dark corners with me tonight. If you enjoy where folklore meets history, hit that like button and subscribe to join the circle for our next tale.